Africa is holding its breath as a bold new chapter unfolds in the south of the continent, a transformation so sweeping that it has Western powers on edge. A powerful new union is taking shape, uniting Namibia, Zambia, and Botswana in a way that could alter the balance of power across the region. At the forefront of this movement is Namibia's trailblazing leader, President Nandin Dwa, whose fierce commitment to African unity and sovereignty has set the continent alight. With a renewed vision of independence and defiance, on March 21, 2025, Nandin Dwa made history as Namibia's first female head of state. Wasting no time, she began dismantling what she calls the chains of colonialism that have restricted African progress for generations. Her latest and perhaps most ambitious move is a landmark agreement with Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema, allowing citizens of both nations to cross their shared border using only national identity cards. More than a simple administrative reform, this decision is a symbolic blow to the old colonial order, a direct rejection of the passport system that has, for decades, limited African mobility and trade. This initiative builds on a similar agreement Namibia already holds with Botswana, creating the foundation for a borderless, mineral-rich alliance in southern Africa. The practical benefits are clear. Ordinary citizens, from small-scale traders to cross-border families, will be able to move freely without the costs and delays of passport applications. Farmers can sell their produce across borders, small businesses can expand their markets, and cultural exchange will deepen among neighboring nations. More importantly, it chips away at the artificial boundaries carved out in Berlin in 1884, which were designed to divide and weaken Africa. The economic potential of this pact is equally striking, linking Namibia's Atlantic coast to Zambia's copper-rich interior and the mineral wealth of the Democratic Republic of Congo through the Walvis Bay corridor. The agreement promises to boost trade, tourism, and investment. For the West, this development is deeply unsettling, especially when combined with Namibia's uranium and offshore oil, Zambia's vast copper reserves, and Botswana's diamond wealth. Together, these resources could forge an economic powerhouse capable of challenging the global systems that have long extracted Africa's wealth for foreign gain. At the heart of this transformation is a leader with decades of struggle behind her. Nandin Dwa, now in her 70s, is a veteran of Namibia's liberation movement, having fought against apartheid South Africa as a young activist in the 1960s. Years spent in exile across Zambia, Tanzania, the Soviet Union, and the UK shaped her uncompromising stance on sovereignty. Her political career, from lawmaker to foreign minister to vice president, culminated in her rise to the presidency, placing her among the rare but growing ranks of female African leaders who command both domestic and international respect. Since taking office, her leadership has been anything but symbolic. Within 24 hours of her swearing-in, she made headlines worldwide by announcing the nationalization of Namibia's oil and gas sector, transferring management directly to the president's office. This move stripped control from major foreign corporations, ensuring that future profits from the country's projected 700,000 barrels per day production by 2030 would remain in Namibian hands. It was a bold challenge to the Western energy giants, who have long profited from Africa's natural resources under lopsided agreements. Her assertive stance extends beyond economics. In April 2025, she demanded a full apology and financial reparations from Germany for the genocide of the Herero and Nama peoples between 1904 and 1908, a crime that claimed over 100,000 lives. Dismissing previous German reconciliation gestures as hollow, she insisted on genuine accountability, a move that rattled diplomatic circles in Berlin. Later that year, she blocked a proposal by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to test an 8-year hormonal IUD in Namibia, calling it unethical and an affront to the dignity of her people. Her rejection, widely celebrated on African social media, reinforced her reputation as a leader who will not allow foreign interests to dictate Namibia's future. For centuries, Africa's vast natural wealth to 30% of the world's minerals, 12% of its oil, and enormous reserves of gold, diamonds, cobalt, and uranium has fueled foreign prosperity while much of the continent remained in poverty. The colonial-era borders, drawn without regard for African communities, were designed to keep nations divided and dependent. President Nandin Dwa's vision threatens to undo this system, echoing the example of the SADC alliance, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, which has already begun dismantling colonial borders, reclaiming resources, and asserting full sovereignty over their economies. Now, Southern Africa is showing signs of following the same path, and the West is watching with growing alarm. The dream of a united Africa has long been a rallying cry, but every leader who dares to pursue it knows the road is fraught with danger. History shows that when African heads of state challenge entrenched Western dominance, they are often met with a familiar arsenal of retaliation, from economic sanctions and propaganda campaigns to more sinister threats. Leaders such as Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traoré, Mali's Assimi Goïta, and Niger's Abdourahmane Chiani have endured assassination attempts, targeted disinformation, and crippling trade restrictions for daring to take control of their own resources. Many now believe that President Nandin Dwa must brace for similar challenges. Unverified reports circulating on social media claim she expelled hundreds of Americans from Namibia. Whether true or not, the rumors reflect a growing perception that she has drawn the ire of powerful interests. The playbook is predictable. Offer soft power incentives such as aid packages, loans, or diplomatic favors to lure her into compliance. And if those fail, apply pressure through economic sabotage, media vilification, or political destabilization. In such an environment, Nandin Dwa's best defense lies in surrounding herself with trusted allies and deepening regional alliances, much like the SADC nations have done to withstand external aggression. Her pacts with Zambia and Botswana are not just trade or travel agreements. They are a strategic shield. Since taking the helm, Nandin Dwa has moved with deliberate speed to reshape Namibia's future. Her sixth National Development Plan, NDP-6, unveiled in July 2025, outlines an ambitious path toward full economic sovereignty. The plan targets sustained growth and aims to restore Namibia's upper middle-income status by 2030, with priorities ranging from agricultural investment and reduced import dependency to value-added manufacturing, rather than exporting raw materials. She wants Namibia to process its own minerals, maximizing domestic benefits. Her social agenda is equally transformative. In her State of the Nation address on April 24, 2025, she promised free university education starting in 2026, a $257 million fund to back youth-led enterprises, and a nationwide internship scheme to combat the staggering 44% youth unemployment rate. She also pledged to construct 10,000 affordable housing units annually in Windhoek, and to explore nuclear power as part of an energy diversification strategy. These reforms aim to dismantle the structural poverty that has long kept Namibia dependent on foreign aid and external markets. Nandin Dwa's war on corruption has been just as uncompromising. On April 27, 2025, she dismissed the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water, and Land Reform following his arrest, a move hailed by political commentators as a bold declaration that corruption is equivalent to treason. By cutting the cabinet from 21 to 14 ministries and bringing in a mix of experienced leaders and fresh young voices, she has signaled a break from the past. Notable appointments include Lucia Witbui as Vice President, Elijah Ngurari as Prime Minister, and 31-year-old Esperance Luuvinda as Minister of Health and Social Services. By retaining only 3 ministers from the previous administration, Nandin Dwa has made it clear she values results over loyalty to the old guard. In a region where stability has often meant submission to foreign influence, her leadership stands out as defiant and visionary. Her push for German reparations over colonial-era atrocities, the nationalization of the oil and gas sector, rejection of foreign medical trials, and expansion of regional integration are redefining what it means to lead in Southern Africa. Across the continent, social media users hail her as a champion of dignity, gender equality, and sovereignty. Her address at the 2025 Pan-African Women's Organization gathering was a powerful call for women's emancipation and continental unity, solidifying her status as both a political and cultural icon. If more African leaders adopted her brand of courage and self-reliance, the continent's natural wealth, from minerals and oil to its human capital, could trigger an economic transformation unlike anything seen before. The SADC alliance has already shown that, even in the face of Western sanctions, nations can reclaim their resources and channel them into schools, hospitals, and infrastructure for their own people. Namibia under Nandin Dwa is following a similar path, leveraging its uranium, oil, and gas while strengthening ties with Zambia and Botswana to secure its place in the global market. On its own terms, the stakes are high. A truly united Africa, controlling its resources and trading freely within its borders, would challenge the global power structures that have long kept it economically dependent. This is exactly why the West fears leaders like Nandin Dwa. She represents a model of governance that rejects exploitation and demands respect. Her presidency is more than an office. It is a movement. With Zambia and Botswana standing beside her, she is building a new alliance that could dismantle the colonial legacy and unleash the continent's full potential. Yet she must remain vigilant. For those benefiting from Africa's fragmentation will not surrender their advantage without a fight. Drawing lessons from the resilience of the SADC, she is forging ahead, undeterred by the risks. The lioness of Southern Africa has made her roar heard across the continent, awakening a new generation of leaders ready to unite and reclaim Africa's destiny. For Africans, her policies signal a turning point, one where borders become bridges, trade flows more freely, and development is driven from within. For the West, it is a warning. The old dynamics are shifting, and cooperation will require fairness and respect. Those willing to adapt could find themselves part of Africa's rise. Those who cling to outdated dominance risk being left behind. The world is watching as Namibia leads Southern Africa into an era of renewed unity, sovereignty, and hope, and Nandin Dwa's torch shows no sign of burning out.